Hey, it's Ryan. Let's go over the part right before the chorus in Die With a Smile. It looks like this. So I'ma love you every night like it's the last night, like it's the last night. If the great song. So the big overview of what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at the C sharp minor 7, the F sharp minor and different variants, and we're gonna look at the F sharp major. And we're also gonna look at this strum pattern that's completely optional. So let's start with the chords. So the C sharp minor 7 looks like this. And what's really great about the C sharp minor 7 is that this is a great replacement for your C sharp minor bar chord. And the reason for that is because you can replace any minor chord with its minor 7 chord. So the way that we play this is ring finger on the 4th fret of the A string. Our first finger is doing a partial bar on the D, G, and B strings, and then we have our pinky down on the 4th fret of the G string right here. And so one string at a time, it sounds like this. So when I play this chord, my thumb will oftentimes hop up to mute the low E string. I'm on kind of the pad of my ring finger, so that way I can lightly touch the low E string. And then because I'm doing the partial bar and my weight is on this part of my finger, this part is slightly up, so that way it's muting the high E string. But in the key of A, you can have the B string and both of the E strings open. So you could also have this chord, which sounds beautiful. But this is a really good movable shape for us to know, because this is C sharp minor. Take the same shape and move it up 2 frets. This would be E flat minor 7, and then up 2 more frets. This would be an F minor 7, which is another good substitute for F minor. So it's worthwhile just knowing this shape in general. So let's take a minute and just practice through it. One string at a time. Make sure that we got all the strings ringing out that are supposed to, and then all the strings muted that are supposed to. If you are getting this high E string to ring out, then that's okay too. It just makes it a super fancy C sharp minor 7 chord. So that's the first chord. Now the next chord that we're going to look at is the F sharp minor. So what we're going to do is take this pinky and we're going to move it up a string. And then we're going to take our first finger and we're going to move it down a string. So it's like the D major 7 that you played earlier, except now we have these fingers attached right here. And it's the same story. My ring finger is still muting the low E string, and my thumb is wrapped around so I can mute the low E string there. And this is a really great substitute for an F sharp minor bar chord, because when you play this, you've got all the notes for an F sharp minor bar chord. It's just not in root position. So when you play this, people are still going to know that this is an F sharp minor bar chord, or an F sharp minor anyway. And if you didn't even want to play this, we can look at the tabs and see that I have the B string and the high E string in parentheses. And that's because those notes are optional. So what you can do is, instead of barring with your first finger right here, instead you put it on the pad. And that will allow you to touch the B string and the high E string so you mute them. So now we're muting the low E, the B, and the high E string. So one string at a time, now it sounds like this. So take a minute just to try this with me. So we've got the 5th, the root, and then the 3rd. So you've got all the meat and potatoes of an F sharp minor bar chord right here. But it's not a bar chord. So I really love this shape a lot. I'll very much use it all the time to replace my 6-string minor bar chords, because I don't like playing bar chords, just like I'm sure y'all also don't like playing your bar chords. And what's also cool, because we're in the key of A, you can do the same trick, where now we're on the tip of our first finger. And this is one of my most favorite chords of all time. this really pretty F sharp minor chord. So that's that. But we're going to mute this because whether you do it this way or this way, we're going to go ahead and make it an F sharp major by doing the whole music theory thing of taking the third and raising it up a half step. So we have the fifth, the root, the third. We're going to raise it up a half step by putting our middle finger right there. And this can be a way that you can play it. Or if you're playing it this way, then you just put the middle finger down. And then if you wanted to, you could also play it like this. And this is a great substitute for your 6-string major bar chord. It's kind of like as though you had a C chord, but you moved the middle finger up a string and then you put the pinky finger down and you're muting both of the E strings. And it's just like your bar chord, except we're taking out the E strings. So it looks like this. So those are the chords. Now let's take a look at the strum pattern. So it's the first 2 bars, it's the same down, down, up strum pattern. But in the last 2 bars, we have the hits that are going into this part. Some people also call them stabs. I just like the word hits better. So how this is going to look is like this. Like that. So pretty much it's the same concept as in like funk guitar strumming, where our strumming hand is just going to be going down, up the entire time. And when I play this part, I like to think of like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And that's a good way for me to kind of keep in time with it. So let's do it nice and slow. Maybe like down, up, about that fast. 1, 2, F sharp minor. Here we go. Down, up, rest. Up, down, rest. Down, up, rest. Up, down, up, and then F sharp. Let's do that one more time. Here we go. Down, up, rest. Up, down, rest. Down, up, rest. Up, down, and F sharp. And then to do the rests at the very last bar, I just put my hand on the strings so that way they can be muted. So this was the tutorial for the pre-chorus, and I'll see y'all in the practice video.